I'm Amy.
You did that last time. I'm Amy.
I'm Rosie.
And this is Ask Amy and Rosie. Thank you for being here. We hope you liked last month's pilot episode. We got some more questions in after that episode. Thank you so much. And we're going to answer them today.
Yeah, if you'd like your question to be included, then head over to the village where there's a special space called Ask Amy and Rosie. And if you put your questions in there, we can include it in a future episode.
Alrighty.
I just remembered we got asked to speak slower.
Okay, we will try to speak a little bit slower. Thank you. So Dr. Stephen asks, I think the answer to this question is going to be one of individual preference, but I will still ask it. I see some players using their index finger for middle and high notes, while others use their middle finger, I think he meant. What are your thoughts on this? Thanks for all that you are doing to help making playing the handpan accessible. Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks. You don't have to include a compliment in your question, but you're welcome to.
It was greatly accepted.
Yeah, good question. And yes, the answer I would say is it's just up to you.
Yeah.
But like the first half of your question, I would tend to use my thumb for the lower notes just because that fits my body. If I try and play with my index finger or any of my fingers, I kind of have to turn my hand a bit more. So usually I'd say thumbs is a really good place to start. But the question is around here, which ones to use. And I just vary it generally. I think it's really great to have a bit of power with any of the sort of three main fingers. Poor Pinky, I'm sorry, it does not get the love. And yeah, there are some occasions where if I'm playing two notes together, I find that I can get sometimes a bigger range with these two. And sometimes a bigger range with those two, and I don't know why that is.
Does it depend on the angle of the notes?
Yeah, I think so, with some more of these notes being at those. And then I also, there's times where I'll use my ring finger, especially if I'm doing like a split hand thing, playing two notes of the same. So I think any of them can be helpful. I guess sometimes you might kind of ring and, there's loads of options. I think the answer is just train all of them, and then you have a bigger toolbox. You're kind of able to try out different things in different circumstances. But you have an interesting story with your fingers, don't you?
Do I? Yeah.
You start when you first started playing.
Yeah, when I very first started, I was playing all thumbs most of the time, and that's because I was watching videos of Sam Mayer playing on YouTube, he plays. He's all thumbs, but then we met him. He's really tall.
He's got really long arms.
Yeah, and I found that getting the speed really difficult because I can't get the reach. So over time I realised, yes, actually a huge bit of it is personal preference and it's down to our bodies. And I started then predominantly using my thumbs and my middle fingers, and that was basically it for a really, really long time, and that worked. Except for the occasional, little lazy roll or whatever you want to throw in there. Now, though, as you were saying, I've realised the, how important it is actually to have use of all of your fingers. And so I think for the kind of whatever your basis is, your foundation, that's a very personal preference thing. But I think context of what you're playing, the piece that you're playing, really matters, and having access to all of these fingers is really useful. I think in the beginning the middle is usually the easiest because you can get the most power, probably. Like you can get the full kind of wrist action a bit more, whereas I feel like the index offers a bit more kind of clarity in playing, and you can do all the little finicky bits.
You do with your finger, if you just move it around, you can I feel like I can do more with my middle can't get as far.
Yeah, you're totally right.
So for that, it makes sense to me to use. I think I started playing with the index finger.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but say if I'm moving from here really fast and I want to get to the other side, but then back again, I might then use my ring, so I can just use the momentum of what I'm doing to kind of get that action. So it is completely context based, I think.
It's a good example.
Yeah, thanks.
A great thing to try is take a piece of music that you know, a pattern or a rhythm, and experiment with playing it with each of those 3 different fingers, or you could even use the pinky as well. And you might find that this chord is easier with, you know, the index, but this chord works better with the middle or maybe the ring. So yeah, take a pattern that you already know and just really mindfully explore playing like different fingers for different parts, and you might find that one of them fits better.
Yeah, and that just reminded me as well, there's a really cool technique that I learned on Michael Lacotia's course, where he must have bigger hands than me. He naturally uses these 2 fingers for chords. I never do that, ever. I'm a middle finger girl. But in doing that, he's then got access to this knuckle.
So cool, yeah.
So you can get percussion in there at the same time. Genius! So check that out for sure. That kind of opened up a lot of fun exploratory stuff for me as well. Yeah. Sweet.
Great question.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
So moving on, can you take that for me, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. We have got Tim Crawford. Hi. I'd love to jam with other handpan players, but can't find any to play with in my area. Brackets Brighton, UK.
That's where I'm from. Well, that's where I grew up. I live in London now, but Brighton, massive.
Brighton. Anyone in Brighton, hit Tim up. He's looking for a jam. Waiting a whole year until Hangout UK, excellent festival, is painful, so I'm going to be travelling to other festivals abroad. Nice, maybe see you somewhere. My question is, and sorry it's techie, would it be possible to set up a remote jam session on Zoom or something? Obviously there'd be limitations, but ... Zoom, like live jamming on Zoom is really difficult. The only way that I've ever gotten around that is, it's not really jamming, but is to take it in turns where one of you plays and one of you is muted and you can play along with them.
Yeah.
So the person who is muted can hear the other person and play along, but the other person can't hear what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which is tricky.
So if Amy and I were playing together on Zoom, I might mute myself, and then Amy's playing and you wouldn't be able to hear me.
Yeah.
So she's playing on, and I'm like following and watching and playing. So I've done that with students, and it works. It can be quite nice, but you don't have that ability to interplay together. It's a bit more like watching a video and jamming along, which is a great thing to do, but you don't have that like to and fro, back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because the problem is if you both try and play, as I'm sure we've experienced, on Zoom, the note that sounds like it's together for one of you does not sound together for the other, and then you get this like amazing minimalist bang, 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 bang.
Which maybe there's something in that.
Maybe there is.
Maybe that's possible. I did a live hangout thing with Phil, shout out to Phil here in the community, a little while back, and we did just kind of do like a back and forth on the same scale. You could do a call and response, and if you keep it quite airy and floaty and untimed, that can really work. Yeah. Because if you're not sticking to a strict metronome and not playing at the same time, there's something in that, maybe?
Yeah, I've definitely done big workshop sessions where everyone's sort of singing and making like vocalized sounds, which sound very interesting and open, but again, it doesn't have that kind of like feeling.
Yeah.
But you can use, we collaborate. The first thing we did together online, did you reach out to me? Did I reach out to you?
I can't remember. I reached out to you to be a guest teacher in my online class.
Right.
And as
part of that, we were like, let's make a video together. So how did it work? Like, you recorded a drum beat, and then it was like, we played like consequences, like you did the drum beat and then sent it to me and then I did the chords. Yeah. And then sent it back to you and you did like a tune on top or something.
Yeah, because we were layering with other instruments as well. Yeah. So I would just, and we did 2. So one was I sent the initial idea.
That's it, and I reacted.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I'd sent you my initial idea. So we were kind of like, they took different paths.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was cool. We should rewatch that. It must have been like 5 years ago then.
Yeah, maybe don't go looking for it.
But that way of working together, we were in different parts of the country, we didn't
Yeah.
know each other,
Yeah.
but using music first, this idea of sending off an offering and having it kind of built on, that worked quite well.
And even if you wanted to build upon it before making a commitment to recording, you know, the idea, you can send voice notes back and forth to each other and say, oh, what do you think about this? A little notation or whatever. And there's definitely something in that, but it's a bit more composy rather than jammy.
Yeah, a bit of time.
Yeah. So technology, yes, you can jam together, but live, I haven't seen anything yet.
Maybe it exists.
It might do, yeah. Maybe somebody knows. Yeah, great question, Tim. Maybe we'll get a chance to jam in real life sometime. Cool. All right, so Eva asks, 1, usually I play with my middle finger and thumbs, as we were just talking about. But to relieve my middle finger joint, I try to play with my index fingers too, and I also need my index finger for something like Marlowe's Pata Pata Flam, for example. It's just so sluggish, especially the left one, has not a lot of bounce. Any tips? Just more practice.
Yeah, we had a look at the Pata Pata Flam. Very cool. So that's the technique of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, isn't it? Pata Pata Flam. And so Ma obviously does her doubles, her two notes with the same hand with the middle and index. I do mine with the ring and index, but it's the same idea of playing twice with one hand. The way to practice it is just to do it.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
But there are lots of ways that you can break it down and make easier exercises for yourself to practice with that finger. So yeah, I think so. It's the index finger specifically on the left hand that you want to strengthen, right? Yeah. I would usually, if I do any practice, I'm doing both sides, regardless of whether I just need to strengthen one side.
Yeah, because you can always strengthen both sides.
Yeah, exactly. But I might spend a little bit more time on the side that needs strengthening. And actually, I've been working on my index fingers as well recently. I've needed to, as we just discussed. My favourite practice is a little bit dull in the beginning, but literally just practicing doubles with one finger rather than two, just so that you're really getting used to relying on that finger a bit more. So I would do scales up and down just with that finger, and you can do that actually, if you're going to do it with one finger, you might as well go through, do the scales again with the middle, again with the ring, again with the pinky. Why not? It's good practice anyway. And then if I still wanted to spend more time strengthening that specific digit, I would either create for myself a simple pattern, like for instance, chord, right, and then a bit of scale, and it sounds nice, so I'm not going to get bored of playing it, and then the same again, but on the opposite side of the instrument, starting now with the weaker hand. And you can really go really in depth with this and spend loads of time with it. You know, finding all the possible ways that you can make that more challenging for yourself, either getting quieter or speeding up or whatever that looks like, just so that you're putting into context the use of this finger, I guess. Alternatively, like you said earlier, find a pattern that you like in the academy somewhere, and just say, okay, today I'm going to do it all with this one. Yeah.
I've got a more brutal and boring pattern. that's a nice answer.
There are two types of.
I think if I wanted to strengthen up, like, so you've said the left hand index finger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just play 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Maybe for fun you can like 1, 2, 4, 2. But the point is that we keep this one going for a while. like I definitely do it to a metronome, I think. But then you could keep that idea going and start to make, and don't do this for ages, you know, do it for, if it's a new muscle that you're trying to build up, you know, do it for a minute, or take a little break, have a little stretch. Think of it like building a new muscle here. You know, you wouldn't go straight to the gym and lift the heaviest thing for half an hour and then go, You know, we're going to build it up slowly. But if you're taking 5 or 10 minutes at the start of your practice or in the middle to really like bulk up, let's say you want to, so then you can add a few more exercises. So I could take Amy's kind of your little descending pattern. But instead of playing it with 2 hands, I could just play it with 1 hand.
Yeah.
Or if I wanted to get really techie, and this is like maybe next level or whatever, I've got this hand going, and this is just going to stay here. This is the one I'm developing. I'm going to see if I can put in a little bit of rhythm with the other hand. And one thing that you could really think about is using different fingers with the other hands. Ooh. To really get your brain going cross. I'm training my index on my left hand, and I might play my other pattern with the middle finger. And that really gets your brain like focusing on how it really feels to move each hand. So with my middle finger. Just take a break, have a shake, go again. You know, those kinds of really drilling into that exact motion of feeling the way that it feels to move just one finger. I think that's fun.
That's good.
I think it's fun.
Clearly, you spend a lot of time. Masterclass. I'm learning a lot. That's really good. This is good. I like this project. I like recording this with you because I get to learn as well.
So the answer to the question, it's not just more practice with it, it's specific practice, isn't it? Because if you're just playing and you're instinctively using this middle finger and you're having an amazing time flowing, yes, we love it, but you probably won't be practicing this one that feels less natural. So it's taking that moment, slowing down, really thinking, and then sort of maybe playing the 2 fingers together, feeling how that thing feels. Really drilling in, because then hopefully when you're playing and flowing, it might just become instinctive to have a go with that finger as well, which is kind of the dream. That's
another good point as well, is about practice. We always say, and a lot of people say, you just have to put the time in, you just have to practice, but you have to practice the specifics like Rosie just showed you, and also making sure you're ideally practicing correctly as well. Like film yourself, record yourself so that you can see how your body's moving. Because if you're just practicing a kind of dodgy way of doing it, you're just giving yourself bad habits. Come to the student focus, you know.
Ask questions,
see if you can get feedback on what you're doing to make sure that, and just check in with how it's feeling as well.
Well, I think actually the most important thing is how does it sound and how does it feel?
Yeah.
Like your ears want to learn the difference between a stroke that sounds like this and a stroke that sounds like this, and be like, oh, is that the sound in my head? Ah, that's a good one. Well, that wasn't such a good one. Oh no, that wasn't it at all. You know, finding that way in so that you can be like, that was a good one.
So instead of just going through the motions, actually listen to what you're playing.
Do it good.
and check in with, you know, does it still, even if you sound good, does it still feel good though? Are you tensing? Are you having to do something that you don't like with your body in order to achieve that? In which case, don't do it.
And you'll find as well, if you're playing with one hand, you'll be like, oh yeah, this finger's so relaxed, everything looks really great. And you actually, it's kind of finding, oh, my feet are scrunched up, my body's twisted, I'm doing something, I haven't breathed in 45 minutes, whatever it is, and then you come back, and once your shoulders are down and you're, if it still feels and looks good, then you know you're really on it. And it's hard to get all of those done at the same time. Like, how often when you're just practicing are you like,
it's not until 20 minutes in you're like, oh no, I've been in this strange position.
Yeah.
Very important to check in.
Lifetime.
Yeah. Which kind of goes into Eva's second question as well, which is when I play, my little finger sticks out on each side of both hands, so much so that it's in the way sometimes. I've tried using a hair tie to keep it closer to the ring finger, but it feels awkward. I could tape it, but how can I keep my pinky from sticking out so far? And I think, again, I always try to teach, as you were just saying, relax, get rid of tension, your hands want to look like this, they want to be in the most relaxed position. But if your relaxed position sometimes looks like a pinky emerging, which actually when you watch some of the bigger players as well, you do see, everybody's hands do work quite differently, and you do see fingers in the air and stuff sometimes. If you still feel relaxed and loose enough, then it might be fine.
Yeah, I think it is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my friend is a fantastic keyboard player, and he gave me a keyboard lesson, so I was playing as well, and he was like, okay, yeah, so just keep your little finger down, do it, whatever. And then I went to see him playing a gig, like a few days later, and I was like, oh, fingers, because he was like keen, he was really feeling it, and he had his fingers up, and I was like, oh, you told me not to do that. And then he was like, well, do what we can only teach, what we think for our bodies is the best way of doing it, the optimum way. But of course, in the heat of the moment, it always who knows what's going to happen. And I was teaching a session the other day. I was talking about holding drumsticks, and it was teenagers. So I was like, right,
I'm gonna make it cool.
I'm cool. So right, football. Any top footballer can get the ball in the goal. If there's no goalkeeper, kids. I wish I had a baseball cap on. So
Yeah.
Kids. But football isn't like that. So they train to get the ball, exactly where they want it over a long distance. Perfect positioning, kick it perfectly. But of course, everyone's running around, the ball's coming at you, the other team is doing something, I don't know. So you're not in that optimum position. You train from the perfect position, but actually, sometimes we're moving across the instrument in a way that's not the perfect way. But if we're kind of getting there and we're moving there, so when you have the time and the space to train, to think shoulders down, okay, let me do my perfect way of playing. But if when you're really feeling it and you're moving fast and your finger is coming up and it's not quite optimum, that's all right as well. It's just when you have that time to sit and focus, sure, think about all of that. And that's what gives us the power to be agile and to react to those interesting situations.
Yeah, nice.
And then I did this.
Very cool.
Really cool.
But again, if your pinky finger is getting in the way when you play, which you mentioned, you can as well, as we just talked about, the whole not just going through the motions but really tuning in. How can you adapt in a way that allows your pinky to do what it needs to do and still not still not cause you to trip up over yourself? Find motions and movements that work for your body specifically to make that comfortable.
And if it's hurting, if it's causing you pain, then that's something to really going back to that basics of movement, thinking about linking up the shoulder to the elbow to the wrist and then into those fingers. That's going to help you to kind of connect how everything moves. Yeah, if you're finding that after practicing for a while, it's causing you pain, then that's when you need to adjust it. But if it just, doesn't look right, What's your?
My pinky definitely goes up, especially for that kind of thing. You have to have a little bit of tension.
Yeah.
It's not. Is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to balance your hand and keep things in the right place. So we always say, relax, keep it loose. But there are moments when tension is A, okay, and B, actually really useful.
Yeah.
My pinky's always out.
Yeah, me too.
But we've got an excuse, we're British.
Yeah.
Alright, so Gerda asks, and this, I don't know, might this be our last question? 25 minutes in?
I don't know. How long have we been chatting for?
We've been chatting for 25 minutes. Hope it's been useful. I have a question about the brain-hand coordination. Can you explain, sorry, I don't know what happened to my voice there. why your hands sometimes are doing something completely different from what they're supposed to do. Like they have a will of their own. For example, playing a slap instead of a note, etc. Is that a beginner's problem, an age problem, or a something else problem? And is there something I can do about it? I hope you know what I mean. Yes. We do, I think, I hope. Sometimes it's frustrating, yes it is. Many times I laugh about it, good. Well, that's the joy of it. But do we have any tips?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not an age. No, it's just the job. That's the difficult thing about it, isn't it? You know, similar to like if you're playing guitar, one hand is strumming and one hand is doing that. We've got two hands, and sometimes they need to do different things. If you're finding it's happening a lot on a specific pattern, the answer is to slow that pattern down and really work through. So if I'm trying to play a rhythm, which is a little bit complicated, or a pattern, it's really helpful to just play one hand or the other hand. So whatever that pattern is, work out exactly what your right hand is doing. In this case, it's doing this. It's so much easier to work out and to develop that when my other hand isn't buzzing around, and of course the other hand as well. So therefore when I put them together I can really feel that interplay. To teach you a 2 against 3 rhythm, but the idea is finding that separation between the hands, finding when they are playing together and when they aren't. It means that I can work out when they're supposed to be doing the same thing and when they're supposed to be doing different things.
Yeah, nice. I think as well, if that still feels like too much, a big part of it is your brain is sending the signals to tell your hands to do the thing that they need to do, but also trying to remember what comes next and trying to learn whatever it is that you're learning at the same time, like the pattern that you're learning. So you're multitasking more than you even realise you are. So you're doing the right-left separation thing, and you're trying to learn and remember a pattern, move in different shapes than you're used to, than you haven't done, you know, your whole life. So sometimes, and it's a bit annoying sometimes, but taking a step back and going to the, you know, previous lesson in the course that you're on, or bringing it back to a really simple, doable exercise that is in your comfort zone again, just so that you can eliminate the learning a new thing part of your brain and instead focusing on the, okay, when my hand does this, that's how it feels. When my hand does this, that's how that feels. And just to really take it a step back. I think as well, really helpful exercises are ones that include, like Rosie just did, ones that include crossing the instrument, because then you're training your hands. Anything kind of on the same side as your hand is a bit easier, feels a bit easier than doing this. Suddenly everything changes and it's different things firing, probably, I don't know, science. I don't know. Probably. So anything that requires that, some kind of crossing of the instrument, is really good for training the connection as well. But I think, yeah, just taking it back to the simpler exercises, just to give yourself that time. And if you feel fed up with that and you don't want to do the simpler exercises, do what I do, which is, okay, fine, I'll do the easy things, but find more ways to make it challenging for yourself, whether that's dynamics or speed, or I'm going to play exactly in this part of the note or exactly on that part of the note. You know, find different ways to make the simpler things more exciting and interesting to you, so that you can put the time in to putting in that hand-brain coordination. So again, the answer is yes, you just got to practice. But you know,
and enjoy it.
and it's fine. And if you do need to laugh about it, and take taking breaks as well, like sleep breaks even, or just, you know...
Have a nap.
Yeah,
just have a nap.
Genuinely, 20 minutes play just before your afternoon nap. Do you have an afternoon? I have an afternoon nap. I do. Have a nap, let it wash over, sink in. Let science happen.
You don't have to have a nap.
Or just, if you don't have a nap, go for a walk, or do a different activity.
Yeah. Make a cup of tea.
Make a cup of tea, have something, whatever it is, something completely different, don't even think about it, and then come back to the same activity. And somehow, by magic and science, I don't know why I'm really into science right now.
Yeah.
It just, something happens probably, and then it works.
Yeah, it does. It's
Science.
true.
Yeah.
Also, we could talk about some hand-eye coordination exercises.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a handpan, this answers another question someone asked. If you don't have a handpan, what can you do? So these are some. I like this one, right? So okay, take your.
Class
Right.
resumed.
This is how you're going to get really good at handpan without even having a handpan. Okay. So with your left hand, hold your nose. No, you don't have to like pinch it, and with your right hand, hold your ear. And then what you're going to do is you're going to swap over. So your right hand takes your nose, and your left hand takes the opposite ear, and swap. And swap. And then see how fast you can swap. 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 And it's really good because it gets you crossing over the middle line and moving together.
I like that.
What have you got?
I learned this from a Tai Chi teacher, say that 10 times fast, which is this idea of moving in circles, not like that, in different directions. So if you take your two fingers together facing each other, and you imagine you're drawing a box, so one finger moves away and one finger moves towards you, then they both move down, then they move towards each other and cross, and then they both move up, and you just keep doing that, then eventually you can round the corners of that square and they become circles. So now your arms and hands are moving in opposite circles. The tendency is to end up doing this and you really think you're doing it. I got it, it's really easy. But you're not, you're just cycling in that case, right? So it's getting those opposites. You can do that on a bigger scale.
Oh, and then reverse it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's tricky.
my brain.
Oh, I can't do that. I need to practice the other way around. Thank you for that. I don't got it. Another way as well, if I back up a bit, is to take it into your whole body. So if you do opposite hand and leg, this in theory should be easy. You can move in the same direction, both ways, or opposite direction. So when your hand goes out, your leg goes out, down, in, up, out, down, in, like so. Fairly easy, right? Good exercise, good workout on the thigh. But what about if you do hand and leg on the same side? So you could do same direction one way, same direction the other way. And now the tricky one is moving in opposite directions. Oh yeah, I'm doing it now.
I think I'm doing it.
I don't think I was going to be able to.
No, I'm not doing it.
So again, the thing to think about is when one goes that way, one goes the other, down, cross, up, cross.
That is so hard.
Oh, it's a good workout as well, isn't it? Anybody who's played drum kit can probably do this much better than us. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. Oh, and one more.
Okay.
This is David Cookerman's daughter's favourite one.
Ooh.
I was playing with her. So you start off with
How old is she?
I don't know, like 4?
Yeah,
three,
very
4?
young.
She's good at it! Right, one thumb down, one up.
Yeah.
And you just swap them over.
Yeah.
That's already like a challenge. But the next level is you have one like finger pointing at your thumb. And you swap those. As fast as you can. Well, like.
Oh. I find that I end up leaving something up or down.
Yeah. So it's almost the putting them away that's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I can't even set up. How long have we been filming?
You're doing great.
I'm stuck. thumb, point.
That's it. That's it. No.
And I need to practice that one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So yeah, those ones are really helpful as well to get that like cross-brain coordination going.
Nice. Cool. Should we end it on that?
Yes.
I think, well, let's leave it on a high. Well, I want to go practice this.
She's going to practice that and then she's going to have a nap.
And then I'll be really good at it afterwards.
Yes, if you enjoyed this, thank you for watching, and don't forget to give us more questions if you have your questions. We need your questions, otherwise it's just us talking.
Come and join us in the Ask Amy and Rosie space over on the Handpan Village, and we'll make some more of these. Thank you so much for making it this far in the episode.
Whoop, whoop.
We hope to see you next time.
Yeah, let us know if you've got any more like hand coordination things as well, because we obviously need to practice them.
I really like those.
Yeah,
I would like
really
more
fun.
of those. Cool. All right, have a wonderful month. Enjoy your practice, and we'll see you very soon.
Whoop, 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 whoop.